This is $100 trillion. It's worth approximately 40 cents American, if you can find a collector who wants it. Frau Vollmer, a widow in Berlin, discovered something that late autumn. The 10 million mark notes her late husband had saved, his life's work, 30 years as a railway clerk, they burned for exactly 12 minutes. The coal she couldn't afford to buy would have burned for 3 hours. This is Caracas, Venezuela. Tuesday, March 13, 2018. These people have been in line since 4 a.m. By noon, the bank will close, and most will leave empty-handed. By tomorrow, whatever they could withdraw today will buy even less. The line will be longer. The Bronze Age collapse. Around 1200 BCE, the ancient world burned. Empires that had stood for centuries vanished within a generation. Their palaces crumbled. Their written languages disappeared. Their bronze coins, worthless. But the copper and tin they were made from, those survived. They were melted down, reforged, and became the coins of the next civilization. The Roman denarius started as 95% pure silver, a soldier's daily wage. You could buy a quality meal, a jug of wine, lodging for the night. By the 3rd century, it was less than 5% silver. Same coin, same face of Caesar, but everything inside had been stolen. Since then, we've witnessed over 250 major currency collapses. Some overnight, revolutionary governments printing worthless paper. Others slow, centuries of debasement, so gradual that citizens barely noticed each theft. But every time, the same pattern emerges. 5 categories of assets survive. Not sometimes, not mostly, every single time. This coin was minted in 65 CE during Nero's reign. It weighed precisely 7.3 grams of gold. At the time, it could buy a Roman citizen a fine toga, hand-woven by skilled craftsmen, with enough left over for sandals and a month's supply of olive oil. Today, 1 ounce of gold, roughly 4 of these ancient coins, buys a tailored suit from a skilled craftsman, with enough left over for quality shoes and, well, not olive oil, but you get the idea. 2,000 years. Same purchasing power. The toga changed, the sandals changed, the empire fell, the gold didn't. Werner Schmidt was a clerk in Berlin, smart with money, or so he thought. When inflation began in 1921, he did what sensible people do. He saved more, worked longer hours, cut expenses. By November 1923, his savings account held 68 billion marks. It couldn't buy a loaf of bread. His neighbor, Herr Goldstein, a merchant, had converted his savings to gold sovereigns in 1920. Everyone called him paranoid. In November 1923, while Werner's billions bought nothing, Herr Goldstein's 20 gold coins bought an entire apartment building on Unter den Linden, not a unit. The building. Here's what makes gold and silver different from every other asset. They can't be created by decree. A government can't print them. A central bank can't digitally manufacture them. There's no political speech that suddenly conjures more into existence. They exist in finite physical quantity, and they require enormous energy and labor to extract from the earth. That's not belief. That's physics. The Federal Reserve can create $1 trillion in an afternoon. It takes roughly 250 tons of ore, 250,000 liters of water, and considerable cyanide to produce a single ounce of gold. That difference matters when empires fall. During the Weimar hyperinflation, gold increased 1,387,000% in mark terms. In Zimbabwe, gold rose 500 billion% in Zimbabwe dollars. In Venezuela, gold has gained over 22 million% in bolivars since 2013. Those aren't investment returns. That's the numerical representation of currency death. Gold didn't become more valuable, the money became worthless. Gold simply persisted. They're not making any more of it. Mark Twain supposedly said that about land. He probably didn't, but whoever did understood something fundamental. France, 1790. The revolutionary government faced a problem. They'd overthrown the monarchy but inherited massive debts. Their solution? Print money. But they were clever. They backed it with something real, land confiscated from the Catholic Church, millions of acres. They called these new notes assignats and promised they were as good as land itself. For a while it worked, then they printed more and more. By 1796, they'd issued 45 billion francs worth of assignats. The paper burned. But the church lands, those fields, those forests, those vineyards, they didn't burn. They changed hands, they got divided, redistributed, fought over. But they're still there, still producing wine, grain, timber. The paper that represented them exists only in museums now. A curiosity, a warning. Zimbabwe, 2008. Hyperinflation consumed the currency. At its peak, prices doubled every 24 hours. The Zimbabwe dollar became a sick joke. $100 trillion notes used as bookmarks. Farmers who held their land through the crisis, those who weren't forcibly removed, became the new wealthy class. Not because land appreciated in value, because land produces. You can't eat Zimbabwe dollars. You can eat corn grown from Zimbabwean soil. Here's the principle. Production outlasts paper. A field that grows wheat, a forest that grows timber, a pasture that grows cattle. These aren't just stores of value, they're engines of value. They create wealth from nothing, through sunlight and soil and human labor. Currency is a ledger, land is reality. When the ledger fails, reality persists. When money dies, people still need to eat, they still need heat, they still need medicine. And when paper currency can't buy these things, something else does. In Weimar Germany, eggs became currency. A dozen eggs could buy services that a wheelbarrow of marks could not. Butter, bread, schnapps. These weren't luxuries. They were the medium of exchange. A shopkeeper who hoarded sugar and flour survived. A pensioner who held paper marks starved. The pattern repeats with eerie precision. In Zimbabwe, at the peak of hyperinflation, the informal economy ran on cigarettes, soap, cooking oil, and cell phone airtime cards. Not gold, not dollars. Those were for the wealthy. For ordinary people, it was Colgate toothpaste and cooking oil that bought survival. In Venezuela, as we speak, coffee is currency. Rice is currency. Medicine is worth more than money, literally. A box of antibiotics can be traded for a month's worth of food. A bag of rice buys gasoline despite price controls. Here's the brutal logic of collapse. You cannot negotiate with hunger. You cannot compromise with a sick child. You cannot debate your way into warmth when winter comes. Essential goods, the unglamorous fundamentals of survival, become the real economy. Not cryptocurrencies, not stock certificates, not property deeds that require functioning courts to enforce. Food, water, fuel, medicine, tools. The things you need today, not promises about tomorrow. Your most valuable asset isn't something you can hold, it's something you can do. The Soviet Union collapsed in 1991. Life savings evaporated overnight. Pensions became worthless. The ruble, a sick joke. But certain people thrived. Doctors traded medical care for food. Mechanics repaired the few working vehicles for payment in goods. Electricians kept power flowing and were paid in whatever people could spare. Teachers educated the children of the emerging wealthy class and earned their survival. In post-World War I Germany, while the mark burned, skilled craftsmen maintained their income by bartering services. Engineers found work with companies that paid in goods or foreign currency. Seamstresses, cobblers, carpenters, practical skills commanded real value. Here's the principle. You can't inflate skills. You can't debase knowledge. Governments can seize your gold, confiscate your land, freeze your bank accounts, but they cannot take what's in your head and hands. This extends beyond individual skills to social capital, networks, relationships, reputation. The merchant who has a reputation for honest dealing can trade on credit when others cannot. The community leader who has helped neighbors will receive help in return. The person who has built genuine relationships has wealth that exists outside any financial system. In practical terms, this means learning skills that solve real problems. Plumbing, electrical work, basic medical knowledge, mechanical repair. These aren't romantic, they're not exciting. But when the currency fails and the digital economy freezes, The person who can fix a broken water heater or set a broken bone has more wealth than the person with $1 million in a frozen bank account. Here's a sobering truth. In most hyperinflations, the currency that survives is someone else's. In Weimar Germany, US dollars became the shadow currency. In Zimbabwe, US dollars eventually replaced the Zimbabwe dollar entirely. In Venezuela, dollars and Colombian pesos are the real economy. In Lebanon today, dollars are hoarded while the Lebanese pound collapses. This creates a hierarchy of survival. Those with access to foreign currency preserve wealth. Those stuck in local currency watch it evaporate. The gap between these groups becomes a chasm. Diversification across currencies isn't just for the wealthy. Even small holdings of stable foreign currency can be the difference between eating and starving when local money fails. 1,000 US dollars hidden during the early stages of Venezuelan inflation would have meant survival. The same value in bolivars became worthless within months. But here's the existential question. What happens when the reserve currency itself fails? When the dollar faces its own crisis? That's when you need assets that transcend all fiat currency, which brings us full circle to gold, land, and productive assets. So what actually survives when money fails? Tier 1. Universal stores of value, gold and silver, 5,000 years of proof. Productive land, they're not making more. Tier 2. Essential tangibles, food and water supplies, energy and fuel, basic medicine and tools. Tier 3. Human capital, practical skills, social networks, specialized knowledge. Tier 4. Alternative currency, stable foreign currency, regional alternatives. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Every fiat currency in history has eventually failed. Not some, not most, every single one. The British pound is the longest surviving, and it's lost 99.5% of its purchasing power since 1694. The average lifespan of a fiat currency is 27 years. We're not talking about if the next collapse happens. We're talking about when. And when it does, the pattern will repeat. The same assets that survived Rome's collapse, Weimar's hyperinflation, and Zimbabwe's implosion will survive the next crisis. Gold and silver, land and production, skills and community, foreign alternatives, your paper wealth, your bank account, your bonds, your nominal assets, they exist at the pleasure of monetary policy. They can be printed away, inflated away, legislated away, but you can't print gold, you can't inflate land, you can't debase skills, and you can't legislate away the fundamental economic laws that have governed human survival for millennia. The question isn't whether you should prepare. The question is, how much of your wealth can you afford to have denominated in paper when the paper burns? This is the paper throne, built on paper, destined to burn. Until next time, preserve what's real.